Hello, good evening and welcome to the Little Farmer's Farm with me, Guru Mafinda, aka Tony. And on today's episode we're going to be starting off our overwintering alliums in the form of garlic and onions. We're going to be showing you the full process of how to start these off today, and they're going to be growing over the winter months and into the new year. Potentially we're going to be harvesting these around about back end of May into June, and we should get a healthy crop. I've got plenty to plant up or to start off today, so hopefully you'll enjoy this. No time like the present, boys and girls, so let's get cracking on with that. Okay guys, so these are the varieties we're going to be starting, and we've got the Japanese Senshu. I've got 2 packs of those. These have been started last year as seeds and then prevented from growing on when they get to that sort of a salad onion size or whatever. So they're the little bulbs. So they're all bulbs, these ones. We're not starting them from seeds. These are going to be overwintered. These are a special variety, the Senshu, that are grown through the winter months. They get the roots established, they get little shoots coming up, and then you plant them out. But we're going to be doing them in the trays to start with, in the cells. And then, excuse me, if I don't die beforehand, we're going to be doing these anyway, and they're going to go into the cells, and then the roots get developed, started off and established, and then the little shoots come up, and then they're going to be planted outside on the allotment itself. Same with the garlic. Now the garlic's the white Casablanca garlic. Again, it's an overwintering variety that we're going to be starting off today. But first of all, what we're going to be needing to do is doing a bit of quality control. We're going to break these apart and check the quality of them, make sure there's no rot on them or anything like that, or dryness. Make sure that they're viable before we actually go through with the starts. So yeah, I'll open these up and we'll see what we've got. Okay, so there's our Japanese Senshu onions. Now, after that lot, I'm going to be sifting through them, and I'm going to be taking out these really tiny ones and putting them to one side. Because the sort of onion that I want is like that sort of a size. That's the good shape, really, for me. That's what I'm looking for, something like that. Now, because of nature is nature, you're not going to get all of those, so I'm going to root through and see what we've got. Any ones that are too small or I think are too big, I'm going to be putting to one side, and we'll just do like a little separate experiment with those. I'll plant them directly out. But yeah, all the little tiny ones, the little baby ones like that one, I don't think they're going to come to too much, so I'm going to put them out of the equation. And I'll show you what I'm left with. I want around about 70, so that we can afford a little bit of loss over the seasons, and in the end I want really to have about 60 harvestable onions. So leave me to do my quality control and I'll show you what I mean. So there we have 72 little onion sets, all ready to be put into the cells. Okay, I've got the garlic out now. If you look there though, look, that's what I've not favoured in the first batch. That's the A string and that's the B string. B's and C strings. But we'll sort something out for them later on. We'll stick them in anyway, because I don't like wasting anything. But they're the ones that are going to go into the cells, because I want to have a harvest of around about 60 onions, preferably. I'll put 72 in, because you'll always get some losses over winter and what have you. You'll get some die off. So yeah, we'll get the 60, should do, fingers crossed, out of those. There's the garlic, which is the Casablanca, which is a hard-necked variety of garlic. That should grow better in colder climates, like we've got here in the UK, so that's what we're favouring. And each one of these bulbs will contain cloves, and around about 14 cloves in these big bulbs. But out of those 14 cloves, again, we're going to be selecting the better ones So we're going to be doing some quality control. We're going to get about 60, I think, planted up, and then hopefully we'll get about 50 on the back end of it, 50 bulbs. So each one of those cloves will grow in, hopefully, to a bulb of garlic. And jobs are good. And now, doing them over winter, what happens is you get some splitting. To get that split where it turns into the bulb, you need some cold snaps, you need some cold weather, some sub-zero temperatures to get that splitting. Oh, it certainly assists with the splitting. Otherwise, you just get a big fat. You get something like that, but bigger. You know, like one of the fatter ones of these. As just a sort of bulb, a single garlic. I don't sound like I'm making any sense here. But if you can picture it, you'll get a garlic that's just a fat clove, like a big fat round clove. It won't be like that. It'll be a big fat round clove, and it won't be as good as. You're not going to get as much basically from your crop if it doesn't split. You'll get much more if it does. So there's 6 bulbs, and out of them 6 bulbs, we'll probably get, as I say, about 80 cloves, and then I'll be a bit more judicious and see which ones I'm going to be favouring and planting up. So we'll get to that now. Okay, so there's 60 garlic bulbs there, or sorry, garlic cloves there, which fingers crossed should turn into bulbs. Now we'll not get 60, I'll tell you that for nothing, but hopefully we'll get about 50 of them coming through in the springtime, late springtime, into true garlic bulbs. And off those, obviously, you get about 12, you get about 10 really viable ones. You know, like decent sized bulbs. So 1 in, 12 out. And then you get quite a few small ones coming off. Or these ones that we've put to one side here, they've been, they're just not looking too chipper. They're not looking spot on, or they're too small, or they've got a blemish like that. Like that one. What you want to look out for is this rotting. You don't want that, because that'll spread to the rest of the plants. So we're going to discard them and get shut of them. Any blemishes like that, we're sort of getting rid of. We're getting rid of those ones. But there we go. We're left with 60 out of the 6 bulbs that we had. We've got 60 cloves to grow another potentially 60 bulbs. Fingers crossed. Right. These discarded ones are not going to go to waste though, because we're going to eat them. We're going to use them in cooking. Any bad bits, obviously, we're going to chop out. But there's nothing wrong with them. They're still edible. Might get rid of that one, though. Don't like the look of it. But yeah, you can get them, and they'll be going into a casserole or something tonight, then, or a stir fry. Don't put anything to waste that you don't need to waste. Anyway, there we are. We've got our selected garlic, and we've got our selected onions. 60 of the garlic, 72 of the onions. We just need something to put them in, a growing medium now, to get them started. So to do that, we've got this compost. Now this is just what I had left, basically. It was from a grow bag. In fact, it's what they had left up at the allotment shop. And it's a bit rough and ready, so we're going to have to filter that and sieve it down. Get rid of all the big chunks to make it a more viable growing medium. You'll see what I mean in a minute. This is just from a grow bag. So it was £4 for a grow bag. This particular grow bag. Yeah. So, and it's just compost basically. They didn't have any bags of just normal compost left, but it's the same sort of stuff that's inside these grow bags. But as it's a bit rough and ready, you'll see as I show you when I sieve it. All right, folks. So I've just put in the like a double scooped handful. In fact, I'll show you. We'll have it as a start to finish. Double scooped handful, like that, and into there. If you can get it in. If you're not a clumsy sod like me, you can get it into there. Now what happens now is we just give it a riddle and a rattle, and all the fine growing medium, the fine compost, will fall through the gaps that are in the sieve. Now these are 5mm gaps, so if I go like this and give it the old la cucaracha, la, la 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 la, And you just keep doing this until you're just left with the lumps and bumps that will not break down. So when I get it to this sort of a stage where it's just basically the big lumps, if you can see those big lumps in there, I'll give it another rough and round with my palm to see if they'll break down any further, and then give it that again. And what you're left with is little tiny bits sometimes on top like that, but the majority of it will be sifted down into 5mm or less than 5mm in size, and that goes through the holes. And it's better to have it finer like that, but not too fine, because the little roots, as they start to come out from the base of these onions and garlics, the little roots need to root their way through, literally root their way through the growing medium. But if there's big lumps and chunks and bits of twigs and stuff like that in there, that's no good for them, because it blocks the development and the spread and the establishment of the root system. So that's just fine down. I'm going to carry on doing that because we need probably 2 of these double handfuls. Well, maybe not 2, but maybe a double handful for each one of these trays, these 12 cell growing trays that we've got, these start trays that we've got. These. So we probably need a double handful and half a double handful, something like that, to actually fill one of those, and we need 11 of them. So I better get cracking with that, don't I? Alright, so I've sieved that down. There's enough probably on this mound here at the back to do maybe 6 of these trays. So what I'll do is I'll fill these up now with the compost. Fill these trays up with the compost. And this is all you do really, just sprinkle it in and smooth it all over. And then you'll tamp down the tray just to make sure that the cells are full of the compost mix. You want them full to capacity with the compost mix. That's all we're doing, is filling them and banging it down. If you bang it down, you'll see depressions appear in your cells, and that's where you want to be putting more compost in, just to make sure it's all in there, it's all full, the whole cell is full. I think these are like 2-inch cells, these, something like that. You get the picture. You've seen these anyway at the garden centres or wherever you get them from, these cells. And then into that we're just going to put bum down and snouts up. We'll start off with an onion. That's the bum end, the fat end, and then you've got the snout end there, and that's where the shoots will start to come up. And you put them into the shoulder, so push them in. That's all I do anyway, just push them in like that, up to the shoulder. So like sort of 2/3 to 3/4 of the way into the soil. And we do it all the way along, filling the cells right central to the cell, and then he goes up to the shoulder, between shoulder and neck really. And what this will do, once we get them in all in the cells, over the next 2 or 3 weeks they should all come up. And when I say come up, they should have shoots started at the top. But it's not so much the shoots that you need to worry about. It's the roots. It's the root development underneath the compost to fill the cells. You want good roots. So that's all we're doing really at this stage in the game. And for the next 3 months, basically, they're just going to be sort of kind of dormant. But the root system will be there, and they'll be in the ground ready for when the warmer weather starts to come through in springtime. You'll see the growth, and then late spring you'll see a lot of growth, hopefully. April into May you'll see lots of growth, And then what I'll do on the other side, just to save a bit of mithering, is I'll do the same with the garlic and get the garlic on the go. I'm not picking out any particular, they're just as they're coming. And you can see on some of these garlics, the shoots have already started to appear. We're already getting some shootage at the top on some of these. But I don't want the roots to push the garlic out from the soil. So it's got to be in there, like I say, about shoulder depth, about 2/3 the way in. So that when the roots do come out, they don't push the bulb or push the clove out of the ground. It can get a firm anchorage below ground level or below compost soil level. And that's all you're doing, because you're just starting them off really, you're just getting them started in readiness for their true growing in the new year. And they'll be inside this polytunnel until December. It's November the 5th today. It's Guy Fawkes night. Needs a bit more compost in there. Guy Fawkes night today. Tonight. The 5th of November. Remember the 5th of November. The gunpowder, treason and plot. I know of no reason to forget the gunpowder plot, something like that. An anti-parliamentarian, Guy Fawkes. Right, in they go. Just like that, and then it's just a matter then of getting them moist. Now, I've experimented with putting in vermiculite and perlite and things like that to loosen up the soil mix, but I've not really seen much of a difference whether you put it in or you don't put it in, to be honest with these ones. They'll start off anyway in here inside the polytunnel. So they're going inside the polytunnel. They're also going inside the cold frame that I've got within the polytunnel. So it's a double layer of protection until they get to get the roots going. And it's just to get that germination going over the next 3 to 4 weeks. Okay. So I've just put about 1.5 centimetres of water in there into both trays, because I've got 11 to put in, so I need that space. So that water is going to be absorbed by the growing medium, which is our filtered and sieved compost. And I'm going to leave them in there then. You don't want too much water though. You only want about that much water actually going into the cells. It'll soak them all up. Soak all that water up over the next few days. But you don't want too much moisture in there. You know, once that's in there, I'm going to leave that then for about 2 weeks before I even contemplate putting extra water. I might not even put any extra water in. You want the roots to sort of seek out that moisture and grow and literally root through that compost, that growing medium, and fill up the cells. All right, let's see how they're looking in the cold frame within Tiki Tunnel number 1, the trampoline framed polytunnel. They're looking like that. So all the onions are at the back there. There's 6 trays with 12 in each, so that's 72. And then at the front, I've actually got 59. I must have miscalculated because there's one missing there, which is a bit of a disappointment, isn't it? But they'll be in there for about a month before they go out onto the plots, and that's just to get those roots established and the shoots up. Once the shoots are up, they'll be going out. Like I say, just a little bit of water in the bottom. I'll leave that now then, and I'm going to put that top down as well. So that is the cold frame that I built, and it's inside the polytunnel. That should assist with the germination. We'll get the germination going, we'll get the shoots off and the roots in. And here's some that we prepared earlier. These are the Japanese senchu that we did last year. We overwintered last year. I'm going to take these home because I don't want them getting soft. The frost will be getting to them in here if I don't watch out. The frost's starting in about a week's time, so I'll be taking all these home and getting them back in the homestead. Plenty of onion soup, I think. And we've been eating those senchu onions since probably June this year. So for the last 6 months we've been eating them. 5 or 6 months. And we'll have enough there to last us through until probably till January, I would say. So yeah, you get a good 7 or 8 months worth of onions doing it that way. If I grow more, it's just a matter of storage then, which I do need to get sorted out. I need to get more storage space sorted out. A cool, dark place for them. Well, yeah, there we go. I'd say at the moment we're about 60 or 70% efficient, self-sufficient with the veggies that we're growing. Not really got enough land or space or storage space to be 100% sufficient, but we'll get there in the end. Keep growing with your heads down, like it says up there. If I don't see you through the week, I'll see you through the window. You've been beautiful, fantastic and fragrant if you're a lady. You've been forthright, virile and masculine if you're a gentleman. And if you've been something in between, you've been something in between, and we love you all races, creeds, colours and castes. Take care of yourselves and each other. I'll catch you on the flip side. Gudu out. Bye bye now, boys and girls, and have a fantastic week. God bless.